devious diesels. The engines on Sodor were working hard to be really useful. All the engines, like the diesels and the steamies. One morning at Tippett Sheds, the engines were talking about the diesels. Diesels are very devious, said Thomas. Yes, said Percy. They make us cause confusion and delay. Yes, said Henry. They make it so that we don't get our jobs done on time. Devious diesels don't bother me, said Gordon, because I am Gordon. I'm the strongest and best, and I pull the express. Okay, Gordon, be careful, said Edward. Diesels say that I'm the dirtiest engine, said James, when I'm literally the brightest red engine on Sodor. If anything, said James, diesels are dirty. It's about time for me to pull the express train, said Gordon, so I gotta go, and then Gordon puffed away. Henry was puffing along the countryside. Then Henry stopped at a junction. Donald and Douglas were there, and they were worried. Hello, Henry, said Donald. Please be careful with the diesels. They are very devious. They make it so we don't get our jobs done on time, said Douglas. Thanks for telling me, said Henry nervously, and he puffed away. Later, Henry saw Percy and Toad. Toad was worried. Hello there, Mr. Henry, said Toad. Please be careful with those diesels. They are very devious. They're going to make it so that you don't get our jobs done on time, said Toad nervously. Thanks for telling me, said Henry. Then Henry puffed away. Henry approached the tunnel. Suddenly he heard a laugh. Bust my buffers, said Henry. It looks like Donald, Douglas, and Toad, and Thomas and Percy were right. Then, out of the tunnel came Diesel 10. Diesel 10 was crunching his claw. Hello there, dirty steamy. Go away, said Henry. Let's have some fun, chuckled Diesel 10. Then he crunched his claws to Henry. Ha ha ha. Henry shivered. He was so frightened. Ha 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 ha, chuckled Diesel 10. See you later, silly Stevie, and then he rolled away. Then Gordon was coming by. He was on his way to pick up his express coaches when Diesel 10 showed up. Out of my way, said Gordon. I have an important job to do. Make me, said Diesel 10. And then when Gordon was puffing away, Diesel 10 used his claw and then knocked Gordon right off the tracks. Gordon was cross. Now look what you've done, said Gordon. Now I can't get my job done. Ha ha ha, chuckled Diesel 10. We don't need to do jobs. We can just play. Then Diesel 10 rolled away. Then James was picking up a load of dairy from the dairy factory when Ari and Bert snuck up behind him and then gave him a push. Powder flew everywhere all over James. Ha ha ha, chuckled Ari. Now you're really dirty. The most dirtiest engine ever, chuckled Bert. James was so cross. Now look what you've done, said James crossly. Now you'll see what Sir Topham Hatt will say. Ha ha, he won't say anything, chuckled Ari and Bert, and they rolled away. Then Toby was pulling some flatbeds of logs when Ari and Bert snuck up behind him and then gave Toby a big push. Toby rolled right into a siding. Then Ari and Bert pushed Toby into a buffer and right off the tracks. Toby was surprised. Ha ha ha, now you can't get the job done, said Harry. Now you can just sit here and play, said Bert. Toby was cross. Now you have caused confusion and delay. You're gonna pay, said Toby crossly. Nah, Sir Topham Hatt will be cross, chuckled Harry and Bert, and then they rolled away. When Percy was pulling the mail, then Diesel 10 came up. Ha ha ha, Percy, wanna have some fun? Let's play. Percy backed up. Look out, Percy, Harry and Bert are behind you, said Thomas. Harry and Bert pushed Percy to Diesel 10. Bring him closer, Harry and Bert, so we have fun, said Diesel 10. Thomas rolled over. Let him go, said Thomas crossly. Nah, he's ours, said Harry. So what you gonna do about it, said Bert. You'll see, said Thomas, so he backed up, and then he pushed Harry right off the tracks. And then he backed up again and pushed Bert right off the tracks. Back up, Percy, said Thomas. So Percy listened. He backed up. Diesel 10 came forward, and then Thomas biffed Diesel 10 right off the tracks. Thanks for rescuing me, Thomas, said Percy. You really are a good friend. My pleasure, said Thomas. That's what best friends do. Then Thomas told Percy about what Diesels did to the other engines. Let's go tell Sir Topham Hatt, said Percy. Then they puffed away to go tell Sir Topham Hatt. First, Thomas and Percy saw Sir Topham Hatt in Knapford Station. He told them. Then they collected Rocky. The two friends pulled Rocky to go help Gordon back on the tracks. With a mighty heave and a mighty haul, Rocky lowered Gordon back onto the tracks. Thank you, Thomas. Thank you, Percy. Thank you, Rocky, said Gordon. Happy to help, Gordon, said Rocky. Then Thomas and Percy brought Rocky over to help Toby. Then with a mighty heave and a mighty haul, Rocky lowered Toby back onto the tracks. Thank you, Thomas, Percy, and Rocky, said Toby. Happy to help, Toby, said Rocky. Next, Percy went to go pick up Sir Topham Hatt. Sir Topham Hatt climbed aboard Percy, and then they both rolled off, with Rocky to go bring the Diesels back onto the tracks. The Diesels were back on the tracks, but Sir Topham Hatt was very cross. You all have caused confusion and delay, said Sir Topham Hatt crossly. You have biffed all the engines off the tracks, and now you have a punishment, which is you're gonna do all their jobs. Yes, sir. Sorry, sir, said Diesel 10. We're really sorry indeed, sir, said Harry. We shouldn't have done that, said Bert. After Harry and Bert left, Sir Topham Hatt was pleased with Thomas and Percy. Well done, Thomas, said Sir Topham Hatt. You helped your best friend, and Percy, well done. You helped Thomas bring Rocky to help the other engines. Both of you are really useful engines. Thank you, sir, said Thomas. Yes, thank you, said Percy. Diesel 10 had to pull the mail for Percy, and Harry and Bert had to pull the dairy train for James. When Thomas and Percy were having fun, Gordon came by. Hello, Thomas and Percy, said Gordon. Hello, Gordon, said Thomas and Percy. I'm sorry for not listening to you about Diesels. You were right, said Gordon. It's fine, said Thomas and Percy, and Gordon puffed away. Then Henry puffed up. Hello, Thomas and Percy, said Henry. Hello, Henry, said Thomas and Percy. We taught those Diesels lessons. That's good, said Henry. They deserved it. And all the engines laughed.